Camcorder Cameron here. Today I'm going to be watching The Northman and doing a little deep dive about the behind the scenes and making of. I'm super excited to watch this with you guys today. I've always been a big fan of Robert Eggers. I love The Lighthouse, I love The Witch, and I love this movie. It was specialty requested by my lovely patron, Foxy Crow, so thank you for your contributions, and this movie's for you.
Hear me, Odin. When the thread-spinning Norns ruled the fates of men.
This is so scary.
I've come to be fettered by my queen's fair locks.
She does have gorgeous locks.
Will your brother not grace us with his presence?
Think not on Fjordur. He'll soon be with us.
Oh, if you know, you know.
He is a puppy.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. This is his becoming a man ceremony.
You are dogs that wish to become men.
Psychedelics as a child is crazy.
I swear.
Honestly, this is really making me think of the whole Electra complex thing. Like, I honestly think that these guys are just jealous that little boys don't get their first period to have a whole ceremony around. So, a couple of notes on that scene we just saw. As previously stated, Robert Eggers did a lot of research when making this movie. He consulted different historians, and the academic consensus was that there isn't any specific clothing that the Vikings would wear during a ritual, but they did learn that blood splattering was often involved in ritual practices. So Eggers asked an archaeologist, whoa, do they just like walk around in blood all the time? And the archaeologist was like, oh my god, I've never even thought about that before. So Robert Eggers took that to mean, yes, they do walk around splattered in blood a lot.
Run! Run!
I thought you became a man last night. You're not gonna fight?
Let this misdeed haunt your living nights, till a flaming vengeance gorges on your dead.
I love that. Get a good curse in before you meet your end.
Strike! To Valhalla!
Very honorable way to go, honestly.
I will avenge you, father! I will save you, mother!
I will kill you, faller! Never forget. I will never forget the first time I watched the trailer of this movie. Honestly, such a well-made trailer, and I knew I had to see this movie from the moment I saw that. So apparently this scene was a nightmare to storyboard, produce, and film. Which if you watch this scene closely, that's very understandable. I mean, look at everything that's happening in the background. Look at the way that the animals have to move. There's a whole lot to coordinate at this scale. This is the scene that really cements Amlet as an anti-hero, okay? We get to see for the first time how brutal he is. Which, I mean, Vikings in general, brutal. Like, this is how you pillage, right? Textbook pillaging. But he's the main character. You want to root for him as a viewer. You want to see him get his revenge.
When we found you as a cub, I knew then that you had the heart of cold iron.
Such a compliment. Gosh, this scene is just so brutal. Really, really hard to watch. These men just be carelessly slaughtered, and the women and children being taken as slaves. Oh my gosh, and I don't even want to imagine how many people are in there getting burned alive. And they love it, these men. They really seem like they love the kill. He doesn't love the thrill of the kill as much as these other men do, because he only has one man on his mind that he wants to kill. Every other killing is just a step to get to that final one. As a True Blood fan, it is so funny to go from watching that show to watching Alexander in this. And fun fact, Alexander Skarsgård's name in True Blood is Eric Northman. And oh my god, what's this movie called? The Northman. And in True Blood, he was like a vampire that was previously a Viking. It's just a little bit too coincidental. Honestly, you could tell me right now that Alexander Skarsgård was a Viking in a past life, and I would believe you. You could tell me he was an actual Viking that time traveled to the present day, and I would believe you. Queen Berk. She is spooky in this movie. I mean, she's always got that weird girl energy, but she's extra creepy here.
Even though your brother stole my eyes, I see you.
The prophet is always a character in an epic, so her character is really important to this story because this literally is an epic, and what would an epic be without a prophet, okay? And I also learned that Bjork did this film because it felt like a familial environment for her since she was so close with the guy who did the score for this movie.
Sail upon to the edge of the world.
Her voice is so distinct.
Another will begin her journey.
I would love it if Björk would read some audiobooks.
Fjolnir killed his brother for nothing. Now he's a sheep farmer.
Ha ha! Karma! Karma's isn't it? I mean, how smart is it really to have your farm this close to a volcano?
I'm the heir to this holy chiefdom.
No man knows if he will celebrate next Yuletide as a king or as a slave.
That is a great piece of fatherly advice. Don't be a little brat. Don't be a little spoiled brat just because you're a prince.
Your shipment is here.
How many days did it take to ship? Jeez. They've probably lost like 15 pounds on the way.
They won't last the winter.
Maybe they would if you fed them. Growling like a monster is really gonna sell them on me. He is big and hulking. Why would you want to get rid of that big old piece of meat?
I'm not impressed.
Yeah, because you're insecure about your own physique, probably. I honestly don't think Amulet sleeps at all in this movie. Nighttime is his time to get his real work done.
I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Fjolnir.
Manifest it, and it'll come true. Yeah, why'd they give him a bowl cut? He looks so dorky now. Although I will admit, the bowl cut with the beard is a good combo. Better than the naked face with the bowl cut.
You! Get on with it!
That's his family tree.
Shut the door.
Peeping Tom.
It's a nightmare.
Then you must wake up.
It's their nightmare.
Haha. You're just a distraction to him. A pretty distraction, though. How much really comes down to fate versus how much do you subconsciously do because you heard a prophet say that you would?
An old fool.
Don't call him that. It is a bold move to get Willem Dafoe casted in your movie and have him play such a small part.
Hear me. Forged by the deadliest warsmiths.
I like this artistic choice to not have the preserved mummified head like talk animatedly through CGI. I like that it's just like a still face mummy head talking to him in his mind.
It is fated.
Try God! The soundtrack is so iconic.
When you must choose between kindness for your kin or hate for your enemies.
This part always confuses me because it's all just like in his head, or is it? I don't know. I would find it more believable if this was all like actually happening in the narrative. But whenever it kind of like backtracks and it makes it seem like this guy was never really reanimated, I don't like that choice personally.
Mark well the full moon's light!
Love that little bit of Sailor Moon power there. What is this? Oh, it's a dog. Show that dog who's boss.
Fetcher, you know the one.
I do love that this movie shows the female perspective of what it's like to be a slave in this situation. Even though the story is not about her, I love that we get to see so much of her in this. I love that. It just shows how courageous she is. She's like, I'm on my period. You wouldn't want me anyway. You know what I bet she does is like goes out back and wrings a crow's neck and puts it in her panties. She probably does that like every day to avoid having to go to the king's bedchambers. She's clever like that.
Till that day comes, I will torment the man who made my life a hell.
He's like, gotta stick to the prophecy now, okay? The witch said it would be a burning lake. I don't see a burning lake, so in the meantime, let me just have a little bit of fun tormenting him. I like the way he thinks. And I love the way he talks to his sword. That sword probably does have like a spirit inside of it.
You marked him well. Now I've found the cold iron that will strike him down.
This is dirty talk.
Won't she wish?
When I free her, I will bring the boy if I must.
I love that he's like, I am going to be a corpse that haunts this land and torments everyone. But I'm not twisted, okay? Like, I'm gonna bring my mom, and if she wants, I'll bring my little brother too. He's got morals. Sometimes.
Look me in the eye, slave. I ask you, do you know how to fight?
Doesn't it look like he knows how to fight? No answer needed. Blue, gray, black, and green, I guess, are the dyes that these folks had on handy. I like that. Really makes for a cohesive aesthetic. I'm sure they did that on purpose. The Vikings. So, what's this sport called? Football? Hockey? Oh, I know. It's lacrosse. Ooh. This movie is very gory when it wants to be. Oh, I thought you were against doing the slaves' work, little boy. Never miss an opportunity to bash somebody's head in with your own head. Okay? He's really proving himself to his mother there, you know? Even if she doesn't know it yet.
Did we win?
So easy for kids to die back then. Gotta meditate after that.
The reward for winning us the game, I'll let you choose a woman for yourself. But know that we will never make you a free man.
He is so insecure that even whenever rewarding him, he has to tear him down.
Father found her too unyielding.
Rude.
The stench of a low-born slave cannot escape him.
Just let him have his extra privileges. You don't need to remind him that he's a slave forever. And he chose this. This is the life he chose for himself right now. He didn't have to be here. Kind of creepy if you ask me, but I guess this is one opportunity to make a baby. Unyielding now? Is she unyielding now, King? This is the perfect time to cast a spell.
What do you do?
What does it look like I do?
And I will tear out their tongues.
I'm scared to see.
They will all...
Yes, this image does not leave your head once you see it. And I really appreciate how the movie doesn't flaunt that piece of art that they made. They just show it in passing, and it is so horrific. It is cemented in your mind. It's seared in there that they don't even need to show it more than that, okay? He really gets some creativity for points for that one. Let me dismember you and sculpt you into a horsey. That's cute. Also, I love that quote. Fear not, you're the first of many.
Their god is a corpse nailed to a tree.
Ooh, burn to the Christians out there. Honestly, I've never even thought about Jesus that way until you said that. Listen to your dogs, everybody. You know an evil spirit's about when they all... Oh my god, I forgot about this. He's got that dog in him.
This is also your home.
Ugh, I just sadly think Nicole Kidman is so weird looking in this movie. She doesn't even look like herself. And it takes away from all the historical accuracy to see... No offense, nothing against cosmetic surgery.
Go take some night air.
I love that. I'm gonna say that next time. I need to go take some night air, excuse me. Remember this face? 'Cause I remember yours. I can't imagine, like, tripping and not knowing what was happening to me. And seeing him look at me? No, I would lose it. He's like, oh my god, I need to look away. Gods of chaos, these two. This is one of the scenes that very, very closely resembles Hamlet. Because there's a scene where Hamlet is like hiding like this and watching his mom. I love this scene! It's so memorable.
You live
Still,
Act more excited, please.
I see you have inherited your father's simpleness.
Ooh, and this is where the turntables turn on us.
I never mourned him.
You thought one thing, but you were wrong. And that is so accurate to humanity. Whenever you're a child, it's easier to believe these fairy tale beliefs of, like, my parents had a happy marriage, or my family didn't kill and murder people. But then whenever you grow up, you learn the real hard truths of life.
You spit in the face of your dead husband.
Yet his brother.
And honestly, I can't blame her here. I really can't. Like, she really was a slave herself. Amlet's father was her captor. So of course she betrayed him and ran away with her true love. I understand where she's coming from, but I know how world-shattering this is for Amlet.
You were forced upon your mother.
Oh, you don't have to tell him that much, girl. That's TMI. Yeah, that's scarring information.
Fiona ordered your death along with your own mother's blessing.
She didn't want you, boy.
I saw Fiona carrying you away.
I was laughing with joy.
That is the best line. Yes. I love her.
You would be my new king, Hamlet.
And this is where you cross the line, woman. But yeah, he's so pissed off at his mom, he's gotta go take off his anger at some poor stepbrother sleeping. Instead of stabbing his mom, he's like, let me go kill my brother. Too weak to kill your own mommy?
Then what must we do now?
She is a real ride or die woman.
It is Hamlet.
Yeah, and there I thought she was gonna keep her secret, but no. She really thinks she's like Lilith over here, but no, you can't just command everybody to do your dirty work for you all the time. If she's so determined, she really had and has every opportunity to kill her own son, but she won't. She thinks it's a man's place, I guess.
I see you're no longer afraid of a woman's blood.
I love that line.
I offer you your son's heart in exchange for her life.
He was just waiting in the shadows in case he tried to pull something like this. I love how his voice like cracks and squeals when he's yelling. It makes it more believable. Oh my god, I don't remember that. I don't remember him losing like that. Every revenge movie has a certain set of events that happen, and there's always a scene where it's the person seeking revenge, one man versus a whole group of everyone. And I love getting to see that scene in every single revenge movie I watch. And some of them can defeat a whole crowd just on their own, and some like this don't end up that way, and it's more realistic. Like, yeah, you don't stand a chance against this whole group of men.
It's your son's heart, and not the heart of a rabid dog killed 2 nights ago.
Ha 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 ha. He really is so sinister.
Where is it?
Psych, you thought I had your son's heart. You gotta go find it yourselves, losers. Oh, are you having a hard time unsheathing it? Oh, I don't think you're man enough. Beautiful, beautiful shot right there. I've always loved this shot. And you know, if you guys have ever seen Robert Eggers' other film before this, The Lighthouse, this scene is also very reminiscent of that. But here it ties in that whole idea of the crows being a reincarnation of his father, or the crows being like their crow god, helping him out.
I see my father and mother.
Ooh, this is my other favorite part of this movie. I know I've said that like 4 times now, but that's just because this is a really good movie. I love getting to see their death ritual here. I love any time I get to see a death ritual in a movie. Oh, and I always thought it was sad. Even though it's their like culture and religion and all that, I think it's sad that to be a woman is to perform, and here she is. She's basically carrying this funeral on her back. She's doing the singing, she's doing all the performing, she's doing all the leading, and who has to be sacrificed with the dead man? Her! Is it because she's his wife? If so, I would never want to wed. Ooh, they do a good job right there, making him look like a dead body.
Oh,
And that's another thing I didn't like about this. It makes it historically accurate, but I didn't like that they like even kill that man's horse and everything. I was wearing nothing but blood splatters at the ritual of our love. Yes! And you guys already know I love whenever we get to see man butt in movies, because it's rare. It's Odin! I love that. And it makes it look like she's got braces on, but I think that's actually another historical element where they used to do like engravings in teeth back then for like ritual purposes. And it would even have like ink, almost like teeth tattoos, but a little bit etched in. Yay! I'm so glad they get a hot spring dip in between to just chill out, restore each other after all that haunting they did. The horses are so cute in the background. They're like touching each other's tails.
You sacrificed yourself that I could flee.
You came back. This is true love. Hamlet and Ophelia could never have this kind of love.
I have never felt close to another person. Not since I was a child.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, not even with your mom, bro?
She murdered my past.
That is a great way to explain what she did to you. Destroyed his childhood.
What do your earth gods tell you?
My earth gods tell me that you're gonna love me forever and follow me everywhere I go for the rest of eternity. I understand her.
Yet I cannot truly believe that you have extinguished your fire for vengeance.
Who are you gonna choose? Are you gonna choose me or are you gonna choose your rage inside? Oh, he's kissing her and seeing his bloodline. That can only mean one thing. See that? That's some twins.
You are the well our dynasty will spring from.
And he gets the best of both worlds, a boy and a girl.
Well, if Fjolnir lives, our children will never be safe.
Can't you just have one moment of happiness with her? Like celebrate
I cannot wait.
Stop this.
your future children for a moment. And just whenever she thought she was in the getaway car with you, you're really gonna do this to her right now? I hate this. And why would you choose hate over love? Ever. All her loyalty to you, risking her own neck to serve your vengeance fairy tale in your mind, and you just can't let it go. Anya's really giving it her all in this scene. It's so believable. I feel her rage, I feel her pain, I feel her sorrow. I feel the power behind her words and that curse and that spell. I'm curious as to what was happening in the meantime. While he was on the boat with Anya, like, were they just searching the whole island for him? Did they give up? This poor guy can never escape him. Oh my god, and you were supposed to stay hidden. And long hair like that makes you really vulnerable in a fight. This kid has my respect for this, honestly. It's what I would expect of a young Viking prince. It's like, we're gonna do this, but we're gonna do this the right way, okay? My family needs to be laid to rest, and in the meantime, you wait, because you and we're gonna be face to face after school. Meet me at the volcano.
At the gates of hell, you will find me.
He knows where the gates of hell are. I'd be like, can you give me instructions? I don't know how to get there. I don't like this, honestly. It's, really upsetting. And he's already at a disadvantage because he's got all these wounds from being strung up and tortured. He hasn't been to the doctor. You know how dirty he probably is. He's got some festering wounds. And now he's entering a volcano where all he's breathing is smoke. This is where it's like, okay, I need to just stop thinking about the movie realistically because it is just a, like, mythological epic. Super theatrical. They're fighting in a volcano. That's as epic as it gets. That's all you need to know. You don't need to think about how they're inhaling smoke and how unrealistic it is. They're in Mordor, okay? That's all you need to know. It's so dramatic because you're just seeing their silhouettes. And this is where I really, really can imagine myself watching this as a play from the audience. Like, there would be a white screen and it would literally just be their silhouettes fighting. I don't know. It's what it looks like with the volcano lighting. Man, they are both just so ripped. Here's that vulnerability quote I'm gonna bring up again, but even though in the quote Robert Eggers was talking about vulnerability of portraying rage, I think that this is like one of the most vulnerable moments in the whole movie, because it's like rage but also like the fear of defeat. Like, no, this is what I've spent my whole life pursuing. It can't end like this. Beautiful, and that is a beautiful scream. You're dead! What did he say? I will kill you, Fulmer. He never said that he would live to the end of this. And that's okay, I guess, because his legacy lives on through his children, but they will forever be fatherless children. Single parent household with twins. Scum. This man is just scum. You really chose hate over this. This is the life you chose to leave. Yet you still get to go to horse heaven. Whatever. This is a really great ending though. Like, enough said. I love it because it's not like trying to overly explain their religion. Like, I'm not someone who's read up on my Viking religion. I don't know much about it, but whenever you show me this, I understand so much. I feel like we need to end with some, like, drums, okay? Subtle, beautiful ending. Ascension, okay? With all that sound of drums we've been hearing, we need some, like, silence without it. That movie was so good. Okay, now that we're at the end of it, I will tell you that is the third time I've seen it. Third time ever. And I loved it just as much as the first time. It's such a fun movie. I'm never bored. I'm always on the edge of my seat. I love a revenge story. Everyone in this movie is giving it their all. There is so much attention to detail. Costumes are amazing. The hair is amazing. Every single time I see Anya Taylor-Joy's character or Nicole Kidman's character, they have like a fresh, new, intricate braided hairdo with some scarf or veil or crown elements. So beautiful. And the scenery, Iceland is beautiful. And I really love modern day movies on this scale that portray like the great stories of the past. Like, I guess Shakespeare is the biggest example, since this is like obviously inspired from Shakespeare. So, fun fact, the plot of The Northman is loosely based on the story of Hamlet, which appears in the Gesta Danorum, which actually is what inspired Shakespeare to write Hamlet. I thought that was so interesting because all this time I thought The Northman was inspired by Hamlet, but Hamlet was inspired by Hamlet. Okay, anyways, moving on. So one of the things that is so unique about this film is that it is made by a notorious small art house film director, Robert Eggers. And it's given this big, grandiose budget, okay? So he really pulled it off for this movie. And honestly, I think he's a great investment because his two movies are amazing. But both of his two first movies are A24 movies. So very much small, independent movies. And here we get this art house director making a big budget. Here's a quote I want to pull from him talking about this, which I really love. The studio took a big risk on letting somebody make two sensationalist art house movies to make a big effing Viking movie, single camera, with all his head of departments. Frankly, our resumes did not warrant us making this movie. And they let us do it, which is amazing. I promise the most entertaining Robert Eggers movie I could make. So this is the cut I'm proud of, but my instinct is not to make entertainment. I mean, entertainment was 7th on the list of The Witch and 15th on Lighthouse. It was difficult but needed. It would have been a more worst film in the end. I think that the last part of this quote is really interesting. Whenever he says, my instinct is to not make entertainment, I would really be curious to hear what his definition of entertainment is in that scenario, because I totally disagree. As a big Robert Eggers lover, I think that The Witch is super entertaining, and I think The Lighthouse House is super, super entertaining, okay? And even though he says that it was something on the list of those movies, it was way more at the bottom of the list for him. But the biggest thing I get from him whenever I read into him is that he's very humble. He is not one to speak very highly of himself. He thinks that what he does is weird because maybe in the mainstream, whenever you're comparing it to like John Wick or Iron Man 25, sure, like this is maybe not something that always gets the public interest, but I do think and I know that there is a big fan base for people like this out there. So that part is so interesting to me whenever he says like, okay, this movie I obviously had to cut to be more entertaining. This is the more entertaining cut, but if it was just my version of the movie, it probably wouldn't be so entertaining. I would love to see the Robert Eggers cut of this movie. This is a great movie though. And here's another quote that I wanted to read to you guys. Most movies of this type don't get the 90 million budget these days. That's going towards more CGI heavy productions. Eggers replies, yeah, and so please, even if you don't like this movie, root for it, because there should be more. I mean, Alex's dad, Stellan Skarsgård, put it very well. Nothing wrong with comic book movies, but we need other movies as well. It's amazing that the studio gave me and my collaborators the opportunity to make a film at this scale. I love that. I think it's such a beautiful quote because I would love to see like more creative minds get this kind of budget because look at what we can make. Oh my gosh, there really is a market for Viking movies and like historical dramas, and movies like that really do need a big budget to turn out so great because so much of it goes into like creating costumes from scrap and that sort of detail and flying everybody out to like a historically accurate Iceland. There's a big fan base for that, so more creativity into the big budget box office movies. And the last of my fun facts that I want to talk about with you guys today is this fact right here, which I thought was interesting, especially because I recently did a Shining analysis video and we talked about how Stanley Kubrick was very authoritarian and did not treat Shelley Duvall well whenever filming that movie. So the interviewer was asking Robert Eggers how he gets that kind of raw emotion out of his actor Alexander Skarsgård. And Robert Eggers admits, yeah, I mean, I think that the portrayal of his character probably is coming from his real life emotion of being so angry at me in the moment for making him redo this scene over and over again on a technicality. Interviewer quips back, oh, how Kubrickian. Which is a little snarky if you ask me. And Robert Eggers quips back, and I quote, but I didn't do it deliberately, and that's the thing. As much as I admire Kubrick's filmmaking, what he did to Shelley Duvall on The Shining is not okay. It's one thing as collaborators for everyone to push each other and demand the best, but you can't be cruel. And I love that. I mean, obviously he's portraying himself to be a good person, as we all inherently do. But I believe him. I do believe that there is frustration that comes in a natural work environment whenever someone is being the boss and someone is doing the task that you're being told to do. There is natural emotions, and that is your skill as an actor, is to take those real feelings in the moment and channel it into your craft. So I think it just goes to speak to their working relationship and how they're both just really good at their own jobs. I don't know, I thought that was a cool quote. Let me know what you guys think. That was a long movie to get through. I know I've said that about the past, 3 movies we talked about, but we're doing some long movies. And here's the time when I really want to make an announcement, which I've made before, but the whole reason why I've done this video is because of my lovely Patreon member, and I do have a new tier on my Patreon. If you guys have a movie that you're very eager for me to watch, go check out my Patreon because I've made a new tier just for that purpose. And now's a great time to thank all my Patreon members. You guys are wonderful. You really are the heart of this channel. You guys support me in every way, and I can't thank you enough. Y'all got me through my Lord of the Rings crisis from all those comments, so thank you. And I also want to thank my channel members because you guys are there too. So check me out on the YouTube channel members or patreon.com/camcordercameron. And if you guys ever consider being a Patreon member or channel member, you guys get my YouTube content early. You get bonus content such as like casual TV show reviews and camcorder archive footage. Anyways, thank you guys for making it this far. Camcorder Cameron signing out.
God,